All right, hello everybody. Today we are going to be presenting on healthy lunches. So before we begin, who are we? So we are the Viterbo Dietetic interns. My name is Malik, this is Nina, and this is Floor. So a little about the background before we begin. So what we're gonna go over today is the importance of eating a healthy lunch ideas, making a lunch healthier with limited options. So if you can't get fresh produce, we'll give you some tips on how you can make your lunch healthier. Substitutions to make lunch a little bit healthier. The big one is eating out versus a homemade lunch. And we will close with what bento boxes are and how to utilize them in your lunch. So to begin, why do we eat lunch? Lunch is super important, as you guys may or may not know. Lunch is important because it provides energy and nutrients to the brain to keep it working efficiently throughout the afternoon. As we know, the afternoon can be a busy time, so it's important to be super focused because most people are at work throughout the day. So eating a healthy lunch is very important for that. You may ask, how much lunch do we need? So about a third of your daily intake throughout the day should come from lunch. The reason why is because, like I said earlier, everybody's busy. They need to be focused throughout the day. Lunch is a perfect time for that. And if you eat lunch, about a third of your meal from lunch, then it can hold you off until you get to supper or dinner time. So what happens if you skip lunch? Because I know a lot of us have skipped lunch before. Skipping lunch can be detrimental because when you skip lunch, you're going to be a lot more hungrier than usual, as you can guess. So that can lead to a couple things. The first thing is losing your focus throughout the workday. So you want to make sure that you have a lunch so then you can be focused throughout the work. You're not thinking about food 24/7. The second thing is that if you skip lunch, it can lead to you snacking throughout the day, so increased snacking. So an example would be if you miss lunch one day, you might eat more during your supper or have more snacks before your supper. So it's important not to skip lunch. And finally, your lunch environment. So this is the one that's overlooked. So having a great lunch environment is super important. So making sure that you're at a calm environment. You're standing, or you're not standing up, you're sitting down so that you're not rushed, and you have plenty of time to eat. So at least 30 minutes is what most recommend, but 30 minutes to an hour is kind of the right range for amount of time you should eat lunch. So some struggles for meal planning and having like a healthy lunch is it's difficult sometimes to find ideas for healthy meals. I know I do. So I assume you guys do have difficulty finding like what to eat. Another thing would be time factor. So having that time, it's throughout the week, it can be hard to meal plan. So finding that time to meal plan is super important. And the final one is financial difficulties. So lunch could be expensive, but hopefully we'll be able to talk to you about how to be more budget friendly and help you guys plan a meal that fits your financial abilities. So ideas to help your struggles. Meal planning is super important. Making sure that you meal plan, like find a day throughout the week. So most times Saturday and Sundays, the weekends are less busy. Find a time where you're less busy to meal plan throughout the week. It doesn't have to be every day, but just make sure you get maybe 3 to 4 days to meal plan. Apps that we will talk about a little bit later are super important. There are a lot of apps that can help you meal plan and find healthier options for your lunch. And the types of products too, we'll discuss later. Fresh food like fruits and vegetables or produce is not always available. So utilizing frozen and canned foods can be super helpful in finding in helping you build your lunch.
All right.
Okay.
So we found these apps online for you to use when you're planning your lunch. The first one is called Yumly, which is the orange one that says Yum. That one offers a lot of different recipes, and you can also scale it down to one serving if you just want to make one serving for yourself, or you can also do like 2 to 4 servings or up to 25 servings if you want to make like a really big meal for the whole family. Um, we also have an app called Supercook. That one offers personalized menu of recipes that you can make using the ingredients that you already have at home. The third one is called Tasty. This one is more like a video app. They offer like recipe videos that you can watch for like less than 5 minutes, and they're very fun to watch. The last app that we found for you is called Lala Lunchbox. This is mainly for kids. It helps them to make, what do you call this? It helps them to make a balanced lunchbox when they go to school. All right, so these are some healthy lunch ideas that we have for you. The first one is MyPlate. The picture on the right side here shows the ideal proportion of what your meal should look like. Okay, so half of your plate should include mostly fruits and vegetables. So fruits, you should focus on whole fruits. Take advantage of seasonal fruits because they're usually cheaper when you buy them in season. For vegetables, you should vary your veggies throughout your meal. And also taking advantage of like the seasonal vegetables can also help you save some budget. For grains, make half your grains whole grains. And did you know that popcorn is a whole grain?
Oh, didn't know that.
Okay. All right. So if you want some snacks, you can reach for a bag of popcorn. You just need to make sure that they're reduced fat or fat free to make it, like a healthy snack for you. Also, your protein portion should be, you should vary your protein routinely as well. You can also take advantage of canned tunas or like canned chicken breast. Also, if you're vegetarian or vegan, you can do plant proteins like beans and legumes. For dairy, you should reach for low-fat or fat-free milk and yogurt, and also condiments or salad dressings count as your dairy intake. You should limit your sodium, so drink and eat less sodium, drink and eat less saturated fat and added sugar as well. And also drink plenty of water throughout the day. If you're craving for something sweet, try some dried fruits such as cranberry, raisins, apricots, and so on. All right, so for snacks, you should snack in between meals, especially after breakfast. These are some of the ideas that we provided for you for healthy snacks. So we have peanut butter and jam sandwich, fruits, nuts, and cheese snacks, homemade energy balls, yogurt with fresh berries, and celery, carrots, or pita chips with hummus. We also provided some healthy and easy lunch recipes for you that you can make at home. This one that we provided is called the chickpea salad sandwich. This recipe is good for 3 servings. So we have 1 can of chickpeas. You should drain and rinse it to reduce the sodium. We also have red onions, bell peppers, and also vegan mayo. And if you don't want to use vegan mayo, you can also use like regular mayonnaise, or you can also use Greek yogurt if you don't want any mayonnaise at all. Dijon mustard is a good flavor to add on to your sandwich. Also, garlic powder and onion powder gives this good flavor. Okay. And also, substitution for this one could be chicken breast or tuna if you don't want chickpeas. Another recipe that we provided for you is called the Italian pasta salad. This one, we try to incorporate frozen mixed vegetables if that's the only available vegetable for you. You can use that one. It also includes black olives, but that one is optional. So if you use black olives, it usually comes in a can. So you can also drain it and rinse it to reduce the sodium. And for the salad dressing, you can either use a bottled one or make a homemade one. All right.
So for the bento box, there are some of the ones that are used for carry the lunches. And a bento box is the equivalent to a sack or a brown bag lunch. Bento lunches are nearly packed in a reclosable plastic container, and the purpose of the boxes is to promote a balanced meal and to provide a variety of meals. And some of the tips when using a bento box would be in the first starting with the right containers. So what is like the container, what are we planning on to look like if we're having like a bigger space or having a smaller spaces on the sides. Second would be the accessories, so things like fork, spoons, or any other type of silverware. And the third one would be plan ahead. So what type of meals we are planning on creating, if we're actually gonna fit the meal is actually gonna fit on the bento box or not, or if we need to change the type of bento box that we're using. Bento box can also be used for many different cuisines, and the bento boxes create a balanced meal. So it aims for consuming the 5 different food groups, and which like Nina mentioned, MyPlate says that the meals groups on the plate should be fruits, vegetables, grains, proteins, and dairy. And the USDA MyPlate it breaks down MyPlate for 40 to 50% of the plate should be fruits and vegetables. 30% of the plate should be grains, and about 20% of the plate should be protein. And then like Nina mentioned as well, as having a side of dairy as well. And the great about the bento box is that it can also be used to store the meal that was prepared during the meal prepping a couple days ahead of that. So some of the substitutions to do with meals that are already that we might already make for lunch. A typical one would be like a ham sandwich, and some substitution to make it a better option would be choosing whole wheat or whole grain bread. For the ham, either if you're using ham, turkey, or chicken, it's important to choose that one that is low in sodium or salt, and that is something that we'll find in the nutrition fact sheet. And also including in vegetables and the sandwich, for example, adding lettuce, tomato, onions, avocados, pickle, or any other vegetables of your choice. Another example of like a meal is chicken with rice and vegetables. And for that one, to make it a healthier option, most of it would be like the type of way we cook our food. And for that one, choosing the cooking technique for chicken can either be grilled or baked, and avoid anything that is deep fried. For the rice, it can be whole grain, whole wheat, or brown rice. And for the vegetables, the cooking technique can either be steam, bake, or grill vegetables. So other substitutions when fresh products is not an option or is not available would be frozen products or canned products. The frozen products are a better alternative than canned products, and they can also frozen products can also be cheaper compared to fresh produce. And the great thing about frozen products is that there's a high variety of fruits and vegetables all year long. So when for fresh produce, when there's some of them that are not seasoned, there's like a chance that they might have them frozen. But that may be a little bit more expensive as well. And also, frozen products help reduce the food waste as we only consume or we only use or consume what we need and save the rest. For canned products, it's important to choose those that have no salt added, or also those that are low on sodium products. Or if that is not an option, or we're not given the option to choose those, a way to decrease their sodium is by rinsing the canned products and removing any excess of sodium. So now, eating out versus homemade lunch. So some of the most common and the most important point would be the cost. So it is cheaper to make your homemade lunch than buying a lunch out of home. And even if it's like, if we're doing that, buying lunch multiple times a day or even a week, it adds up at the end. Eating at home, it would save more money. Also, there's research done that says, or that found that when eating at home, we consume more nutrients, and there's a higher consumption of fruits and vegetables. And there's typically less nutrients and vegetables consumption and fruits and vegetable consumption when eating out. Eating at home also, there's a less consumption of fat, sodium, and sugar intake compared to eating out, where these three are higher usually when we buy lunch at restaurants. And also, portion control is a huge issue when eating out. Usually, or most of the restaurants' meals are larger portions, so sometimes even like for portions for 2 people. And making homemade lunch usually is easier to control that, especially when you're doing a meal prepping or using the Bento Boxes, which it only gives you the space available for 1 meal, or we only pack where we think we're gonna eat for like 1 meal a day. And a tip for eating out would be that if we get like a large portion, we can take some of the food to go, and then we can just eat like the right amount of portion per meal and save the rest for the next day or later that day. And another difference between the two, it would be allergy exposures. When eating at home, eating homemade lunch, it's easier to prevent allergy exposures, because if we know that we're allergic to something, or some family member is, we will like try to avoid that item there. And when eating out, it's harder to prevent it, or even if we tell the staff, the restaurant, that we are allergic, like someone is allergic to food. In the kitchen, there might be that product there, so there's a higher chance to be exposure to the food allergen. And that's all we have. These are references. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact Jamie Weber from Viterbo University at an email address shown on the screen. jaweber@viterbo.edu. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.